Okay, we should be back in service. We just had a massive disconnection of everything on our end. But we should be back. Absolutely everything went down. I believe we should be able to continue though. So let's do so. Yeah, good. Yeah, we pretty much had to do a full reset of our whole network here because the switch went down, but thankfully after it already registered the clear on that level. I think it must have disconnected right after that because I got the communication error screen pretty much as soon as I popped out of our, was it 1-4, I guess. So let's head into the airship. Okay. Yeah, I mean, hopefully that doesn't continue. We did have one DC right near the end of my previous stream, but nothing quite as bad as what happened back when I was running Super Sneak-In World, when we actually disconnected like anywhere from 3 to 5 times, I think, and it just made editing the video afterwards be a bit of a nightmare in its own right. Okay, head all the way to the top boundary of the screen. And ride this up. We are got a moving platform that takes us up nice and high, which will require that we're a little bit careful about reading the bullet bills. Back down we go. Power up. Yes, great. Watch out for fire here. Interesting. Okay, fairly harmless. It's one big churning boo ring. 1-ups will be appreciated. Shouldn't take them as casually as we typically do. Why don't we just shortcut away here? Grab the feather. Nope, that was already a mistake. Whoops, tried to get on top of that bullet and just totally missed. So yeah, fire, fire, fire. Yeah, I saw a fire flower back here. Let's grab that. Nope. Bowser does collide in this style in Super Mario World. And given that he collides, I think we just need to probably get under his feet. Oh no, the track comes back. It does not drop fully the other way. Just get over him and down the pipe. Yeah, we gotta run for it before everything explodes. I mean, everything will start being timed as it spawns in, and we will hit the goal. That is it for World 1, after having survived the network issue. We'll head on. World 2. Okay, here we are. Let's give this a play. Entering World 2 with 15 lives. A dramatically reduced bank, but seem to be making it so far, so okay. Seems like we have 4 trials that need to be completed in 100 seconds. Actually unclear to me how this is gated right now. Seems like we've lost a bit of time there already. Oh, I see. Okay, just buy coins. Spent about 20 seconds on that, which should be on pace if everything else is of equivalent length. Oh, I see, and then it kind of gives you a preview of the setup that is built on top of that too, on the upper half of that screen. Make the pipe. Okay. Oh, whoops. That's okay, that's just expended once, and it's not an issue afterwards. Okay, back we go. And that's the key. Of course, without any checkpoints in the way so far, key death is not really an issue. Yeah, just pretty straightforward run. Short and sweet. Just a minute here, I've got to do something administrative on my end. Make sure everything is still working. Okay. Let's continue. And downhill we go. Whoops. Okay. Slightly less than accurate in that time. And we'll just head up this way. Whoops. Vastly overestimated the amount of headroom I would have there. And we'll just work our way up and around and to wherever that takes us next. Okay, so this is a fairly new level. You can tell by the P-Balloon. Okay. Thankfully we can get back down for a refresh. We should not use the boost button quite that aggressively. Luckily this is not too time sensitive. And that should keep the P-Balloon heading out into this segment. Yeah, correct. Sure, let's keep the P. Why not? Not sure we can actually enter a door with it. Can we? Yes, we can. I've barely played with the P-Balloon, so a lot of this is new to me. And yeah, we're just continuing apace. Scaling Snowy Mountain. It seems like good use of the P-Balloon is certainly the trick to having a nice speedy clear on that. Certainly seemed like we managed to bypass a lot of the last segment simply by keeping the P-Balloon and going straight up the center, and I think that was certainly designed to permit that. Snowy Skyline Sprint, we got a somewhat brisk and medium speed auto-scroll, I guess. Have to guess a little bit on that platform, but oops. Didn't account for the speed of the conveyor going in the opposite direction. Oh. Yep, just need a little bit more accuracy coming off of that belt. Okay, straight over we go. Does require a little bit of off-screen play, but at least the trajectories here are pretty easy to calculate. Yeah, a lot of the spacing here does kind of require you to let the camera give you the information you need, but overall, fairly relaxed experience as we gradually escalate our way into Snowy World 2. Almost forgot to take note of whether this was a snow world. Yes, indeed it is. And we had noticed that from the levels, but I haven't really thought about that in relation to the overworld. Yeah, pretty good mix of styles so far. Doing a lot of levels that were very clearly a mix of the old and the new, and unified by theme. Fairly even proportions. So back to 3D World we go. And we're going to have a bit of fire to accompany us into the Ice Palace. And we'll check both sides. Ride this back. Oh, no, we wanted to get on top of that. I see a warp block that is all the way at the top of that segment. And that could potentially be useful. Interesting that the flower on top of the tree was not aggressive, it was just a reward for checking the tree. I see. Technically you could boost through here if you decide to take damage and head straight up to the block. I don't know if that's an exit block or an entry block though. I'm gonna check that anyway, because we like to fool around with stuff like this. Oh, I see. Okay, so we actually just did this whole segment in reverse. And it is going to be divided into two halves. You see a checkpoint up on the upper level. Okay. Didn't see the flop coming for a moment. I thought I'd stop this. And well, we do want it in an off position as we head to wherever we're going next, because then no, that's going to be the ceiling anyway. Actually, that's just a return block. I want this in the on position such that we use the belt to our advantage. Okay, now we can read this fairly easily. There we go. That's a return. I could tell that the spikes were attached to the ceiling just by the way they kind of auto-decorate when they are placed against the ceiling. Which is true of a number of elements in 3D World, including the glass pipes. Recollection. Then we'll just proceed onwards. Now, ice, of course, like this is being used aesthetically, but you'll notice that ice columns don't give you scroll stop. Yeah, let me know if we have bitrate or encoding issues on our end. It doesn't seem like we're dropping too much data, but I'm a little bit paranoid about the state of our connection, just given what happened earlier. Looks like eventually we'll want to retrieve a key from the next segment, and then drop onto this P-switch. Dropping onto the P-switch will allow you to take the key to the door. However, there's also a P-door, which makes me wonder. Makes me wonder which one we should bother checking. Yeah, very much a wall jump, sorry, a long jump check. Very much just a jump check. We'll go through these one by one. Overall, pretty readable. Send that guy over. And And yeah, actually taking the key door is what will take you to a segment that eventually drops you down to the warp block. The ultimate exit will be the key door on our way back. So, kind of a looping structure. Yeah, you can see the warp block at the end of the glass pipe there, so... that was supposed to be a long jump. Just totally blew it. Of course, this broken by... Actually, even just a regular jump would do. Not really broken, it's more that you're skipping the... Well, required to dodge the bullet bills. That's happening there. Here you just kind of trust the player to use the P-switch while it's available. We did not go fast enough. That's going to be a bit of a reset as we loop through this segment again. And that's fine. Ride this up. Ride just to the side. And, whoops. Yeah, I needed to find a little bit of a safe location to hit a bomb so we could take it across. That was a bit of an artifact of bad planning on our end. I know. That was very silly. Okay, let's get back on a saddle here, or on a swamp rather. Preserve the bomb timer as we make our way through. I discovered something fascinating about the clear pipes yesterday that I wasn't really 100% sure about, but which was used to excellent effect in a puzzle level that we played, where apparently things that are still traveling through pipes remain globally loaded until such time as they exit the pipe. So, did in fact see that mechanic in action in a very rare circumstance. Like, I've hardly ever seen anybody actually use that property. So maybe I just don't play enough puzzle levels to know. It looks like you really do need a long jump across all of that in order to make it. We have made it out safely. And yeah, you can see that the P-switch was still activating that entire exit setup. They're transforming the holding into coins. So those were the 4 trials of the Ice Palace. And we are down to 11 lives, so we'd better try to win at least one minigame, or do competently at it. Nope. Going to treat that as disastrously as we typically do, and then we'll move on to Castle of World 2. Oh, whoops. Got flipped by a boo as it spun around from the bottom of the ring. Oops. Da-da-da-da. Now, we'll see how necessary it is, but it looks like there will be some kind of P-switch timing that we eventually require. Yep, there's the P-switch. This, we can tell, is also a fairly new level just by the presence of the Mecha Koopas. door there, right next to the checkpoint. Like that will be activated by another P-switch that we see later in the level, certainly not in that one. Just now. Got a refresh on a Master Sword, which so far actually has been used as an optional power-up, which is really not that common when it comes to Master Swords. You know, people actually design around it as a power-up. Okay, that'll be the checkpoint next to the side swap. We should have known that was coming. Now we have seen the swap earlier. We'd better... Oh, okay, that's good. We can bomb our way out of that. Those Podoboos reach up to a great height. Now, if my understanding is correct, we should be able to drop the bomb here. And toggle that. Oh, whoops. Yeah, unfortunately, we do need to drop back down because we'll need a bomb to traverse that segment there. Hey, Propfin, how are you doing? Enjoyed your submission yesterday. Yeah, we're just doing a big catch-up today. We are currently going through a full set of worlds. And then we'll be... We've got quite a nice variety of levels scheduled for after this to show off today. So thank you for dropping by. But yeah, it's becoming a bit more of a regular thing where we are doing fewer levels on the weekdays and using the weekends to do things that are kind of more flexible in terms of time. Okay, it looks like the key to this, whether we defeat Lemmy or not, is just to bomb our way through. There we go. That's the X. Oh, thank you for the GG. Glad to see you're also enjoying the emote. And we have a bank of 10 lives. Getting in World 3. As is our usual policy, we will be playing until a game over, and then we will possibly look at some other stuff from there before we come back. Yeah, hoping to run more than one of these streams today. This big skull here tells me that this might not be the path. That skull here tells me that might be the path. So. Whoa. Something tells me that we actually skipped quite a bit. And that we were supposed to, for example, probably take the pipe and then loop back over. We can always check that. But yeah, let's check the pipe. No. Pin jumping over is the way to go. Let the piranha spawn. Get around. Okay, this is the intended path for sure then. Let's not get whacked by the bones. And head down the red pipe. Okay, it'll be another... Whoops. Didn't expect it to bounce that way. It'll be another coin-based multi-challenge level, one consisting of 3 coins. Let's do that again a little more carefully this time. No, we should have gone back through the middle. Should have known I wouldn't have the jump height. Make it back that way. Whoops. Okay, we're being far too careless with lives given how small a bank we have left. Far too careless. Let's clean this up a bit. Yeah, very easy to get into some bad habits with Mario Maker, I think, where you don't care about lives nearly enough. Alright, let's wait for the piranha. Give us a bit of space. Ride this across. Nope. He mistimed that. I thought I would have room for one more landing. Now, one thing I can see immediately with this kind of design, that unless there is some kind of looping structure that takes you back to the start, the coins are required but potentially missable. I think they're required anyway, not having read the description since the world format does not give you access to that. You can definitely see, though, over at the next skull that there was something above here, and I wonder if that's something that drops you back in. Like, you loop around the whole structure, drops you back in, you grab the door with the key at that point. So yeah, it actually does let you reverse the level again and look for any coins you would have missed. There is looping. Yep, I do see the looping now. I paid a bit more attention this time. I noticed the elements that were above the second skull, and only got a good look at them this time in terms of how they were structured around the key door, so definitely looping. Okay. Grab the coin. Wow, we are down to 3 lives already. We have to really play a little bit better than we have been doing so far. And Lulzwagon, thank you for the sub, by the way. I did not see that earlier simply because we had the disconnection. But do appreciate that you find this programming worthwhile. Whoops. So we failed miserably again at something actually rather trivial. Down 2 lives. Okay, we've got to be careful. Well, at the very least, this will be a good sense of how far we get without the use of the continue, and we'll just kind of keep count as we go to see how well or how badly we're doing. Alright, let's watch this time and actually make it upstairs. There we go. Full use of momentum there, and Fire Flower will be very handy. Looks like this will take us over to a 3rd coin, we hope. By the time we are out of this little structure. Fire Flower maybe not being most useful as fire, but very useful as a hit buffer. Drops us out. And here's the goal. Glad we went for the 1-up on the tape there. We do need to start rebuilding that bank. Incredible ice skulls that don't melt in the heat of the desert. Okay, World 3, our lives are perilously low considering we're not even halfway. Spiny Slide Cave. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of NSMB sliding, as we can see. Yeah, interesting placement on these jump blocks. We're going to twirl our way up. Yeah, I know we were supposed to slide our way through that, but we're we're not being particularly speedy. Okay, so Fire Piranha is going to be a little bit annoying about its timing. Oh, being tossed at from above. Okay. Yeah. The pipe spawn timings do generally annoy me about Mario Maker. Something I do complain about quite a bit with how Mario Maker compares to the original games is that estimating when things are going to come out of pipes is a bit of a known problem. Oh, okay. Hoped I would hijack the cloud there. That didn't go quite as well as I hoped. Alright, let's not have that land on our heads. Let's move up. Oh, just trying to chase him there, and that was a bad idea.
Oh no!
Whoa, okay. That was close. You know what? Let's just do that. Now, let's hope we can get back up to the cloud in time. There we go. Oh, was
Oh no!
picking a very inopportune location to drop out of the cloud there. We could have gone for that faster and gone for the next hijack after that. We are down to 1 life. We have to be careful here. Yeah. Actually easier to navigate as short, small Mario here, rather than when you are big. I didn't realize the previous time that we were actually right at the flag already, so that was convenient. Yeah, nowhere close to that 26-second record that you see on the level. Yeah, kind of hanging by a thread here as we head into the Poison Mushroom. Under the Western Sky. Yeah, let's just let this bounce back. I'd rather deal with it that way. We do not have the benefit of the slide in SMP1, so we should not count on that. Very glitchy dry bones here. Let's make our way across. Okay, checkpoint. Guess that. Might just be a coin here, but we'll check that just to be diligent about it, because we do need what we can get. Okay. That was certainly one of the surprises about Mario Maker 2, was that when they first showed off some of the variant night themes, like the Desert Wind, I think it was very easy to underestimate just how difficult the wind would be to play around. Okay, red pipe, we just gotta stay on. Nope. Looks like that is a bit of a time-sensitive thing. Okay, that's game over. So how far did we make it? We made it as far as World 3-3. Well, Lulzwagon, since you're still here, you know, we might as well just continue this and just keep in mind that we already had to start from one continue here. And normally I would just kind of tap out for a bit and take a break with something else before coming back in, but might as well try to continue and keep in mind the fact that we hit one major failure. Okay, and that's feeling a little bit smoother this time. Whoops, just missed a skull track entirely. Yeah, difficult sometimes, I think, to get a sense of how the world format is balanced until you really see a full playthrough like this. Of course, we lost a significant number of lives to the swamp on-off setup much earlier in World 1. Seemed to be the main thing that killed it run, more than anything else that came after it. Whoops. Okay, let's make our way up the steps again. Progressive? Nope, just mushroom. Okay, this is going to be tricky. I think it's going to require some pretty solid timing, which is not. Whoa, okay. Very close there. Okay, so we have a bit of an upside down zone. Hopefully that'll give us something decent. Oh, interesting. Switch. B-switch will just kind of let us into the middle. We're somewhat quick and efficient about it. I do think we want to leave some of the coins there so we can actually have a shot at... Oh, okay, invisible block. We could have just kept that, yeah. Interesting. Not something you see every day. Oh, look at that. There was actually a red pipe up there as well. As though this were the exit, rather than the entrance, the intended entrance of the bonus room. We're going to lose that right away, just due to lack of caution. Interestingly, that would have allowed you to break these steps down here. Like, had we kept the big mushroom, like that would smash this stuff and take us down. Saw that coming. Things are alright, Electro Dude. That is certainly what we've been doing so far, is booming our way through this. Yeah, we already expended one continue. We're kind of in the middle of World 3 right now. This is a world submission from Volkswagen. We have a lot of single levels that we'll be doing afterwards as well, depending on how much time we have remaining. Yeah, this red pipe setup there is really quite difficult to play around. Okay, let's try to take another crack at the big mushroom. I think breaking everything below there is probably a bad idea. I don't think it will actually take us anywhere, but I may be wrong. Yeah, so we know it's big mushroom here. In fact, there is a red pipe up there. Don't really see a way to get to it unless there are more invisible blocks. No. Okay. Seems like that was supposed to be the entrance then. Oops. Surprisingly difficult to do this upside down. Really throws off your instincts when it comes to gauging a height. There we go. Yeah, so Electro Dude, I don't know how much further you got with, whoops, all the Koopaling stacking setups. Okay. Try to calm down and wait out the wind a bit. And okay, that's it. Yeah, I guess we never really did see the red entry pipe into that big mushroom room. We had better stock up on some lives. We really got sort of eviscerated by surprise earlier with that one on-off column that just kind of took out about 10 or 15 lives very early on in World 1, and that was the main thing that ran us into trouble quite prematurely. Okay, let's move on to the quicksand level. Got that money, hope you're doing well. We are in World 3 of Super Lulzwagon World, and we already had to spend one continue, despite our usual commitment to. It's kind of observed the game over, but... well, now we know that we've failed to do it in a single segment, which I was hoping we could. Love how that skewer was just kind of trapped in the sand there. Okay, that seems kind of more accurate than I had hoped for. Sneak our way under. Gonna take this a bit more cautiously than we've been doing so far. Yeah, side thwomp is going to quite angrily reach its way over. And it is going to miss. It wants us to go down here. Let's wait for the burners and grab that checkpoint first before we do anything quite like that. Oh, a key, okay. Interesting. I think I was actually paying attention to where there might have been a door. Must have been back to the left. No, yes, okay. Whoops. Did we actually see a key door? Yes, we did, at the very start. Had a bit of camera trouble there with the fall. But... whoops. Should have known better than to do that. Okay, so we'll just try to evade some of the camera trouble. We should have taken advantage of the cannonballs, actually, on the way down. I've burned so many lives on this. Fairly easy to play around. Whoops. Okay, let's actually make use of the platform for once. Whoops. That was a little bit counterproductive. Yeah, we totally got ourselves trapped in that corner. Down we go. I got that money. This is Lulzwagen. So it's 6 worlds, 6 worlds, 30 levels, and we are almost at the halfway point. Okay, we gotta do a nice accurate drop here. That was not accurate. But then that's a bit of a tight one-tile column there. Yeah, but we are out. Well, we escaped from the haunted pyramid. Yeah, one thing I guess there was just the camera on the descent, like in terms of having some visual clues to guide you back into where the safe landings would be, so it doesn't... I mean, you know, it's retreading ground that you have covered already, so it's not necessarily blind, but it is a little bit by memory, right? Or of course you just have to be a player who scouts ahead much more cautiously than I do. Instead of just forging ahead all the time. We will take that 3 up. We'll take it quite gratefully. As we move on to the airship of level 3. Okay, meows are in the dark world. So back in the 3D World Circus we go. We will eventually want to make our way up that pink coin there, using the cat. And I get accustomed to the cat again. It's a while since I've done any more advanced cat levels. I used to have my technique absolutely down for it, but lately maybe not so much. Okay, here I think we just have to wait for the camera to cooperate with us. And the little sort of L-shaped pattern there was definitely something that caught me a bit by surprise. It is possible to fall in, I see, on the right side if you do in fact know that's where to go. Beep, beep, beep. We'll just have to wait for that. Can in fact go over, but I don't see why we would, considering that we need this one here. Whoops. Okay, key. And we don't want to long jump into the wall because that will just send us careening directly down. Yeah, it seems like that was a little bit tight as Super Mario. Like a small Mario, I can see that fall as being fairly roomy, but when you are big, that's one of those things that you'd want to test against, right? You don't want to make it harder for the player when they're big. Had plenty of practice with the bullet, at least. Whoops. Oh, shouldn't have lost that. That's okay, we'll just wall jump our way up. Seems like this, yeah, it certainly didn't require us to lose it. Would have helped considerably if we had kept it. Whoops. Didn't expect a bullet to just... Oh, I see, it crashed against the spike block. Now, do we just run out of fuel if we try to boost our way across? I don't know, let's keep this in mind and try to keep the bullet hat for as long as we can. Might be a faster way to do this, but... yeah, just takes you directly across. See if keeping the bullet hat does anything particularly useful for us here. Oh, whoops. I mean, I guess we hit Meowser that way. Now, okay, let's see what our potential method would be for killing him, like whether there are any POWs or fire. Or if we just need to go down the pipe. Won't be down the pipe. Ah, cannon. Cannon hat. Looks like that's just a Magic Koopa respawn off the blue pipe. Okay. Yeah, Magic Koopas do transform the new hat power-ups. That is something that they do. I remember finding that out in the Goomba level I made and just having to leave it. As the thing is, you know, Magic Koopas, like, give them anything to hit and they just wreak all kinds of havoc on our level of control over what can happen in the level. We'll just squat on top of this pipe and prevent them from spawning. There we go. Okay, nice fight. Yeah, we'll take some of these coins for sure. And the 1-up as well off the flag. Yeah, nice little finish to World 3. And that will take us onward to World 4. Into the Forest of Illusion, where we will begin with a bridge too far. Yeah, it's coins. We'll take them. And yeah, we'll move on. Oh, that's a lot of blooping. That's in the middle of the forest, way up above the treetops. Okay. Oh, actually... Nope, won't quite give us enough distance, at least not with the level of technique on display from us. Oh wow, 100 seconds already, okay. We can totally fly off this area, though. Except we want to hit that switch. And then we can fly. Just to see if it takes us anywhere interesting. About 70 seconds left. Nope, we don't want to hit that directly. Maybe a little bit too accurate for our own good. Okay, no, that's okay. Water will give us a bit of assistance as we realize that we have to fly a little bit better. Or really just do the platforming the way it's intended. Yeah, let's just recover back here. It'll be easier than trying to struggle through all of that and you. We've got 20 seconds left, though. Oh. It's right there, okay. Okay, hammer time. Hammer Bro Jungle. That probably accurately describes what we are about to face. Get over to Bonanza, get over to Hammers. Just kind of take this quickly. Yeah, we'll take some fire. Yeah, and SMB1, like these guys are just a massive pain to deal with, but at the same time, really go to show just how good the flower is in that game. The flower just makes the biggest difference with them in particular. They were always one of the harder things to deal with. Now, nice in the forest world that you do have water for safety. Assuming we can find a place to get back up, yeah. Whoops. Tried to hang a little bit too low there to pay the cheap cheaps. Okay, so we will continue over this guy. I think that bullet is going to let us break anything interesting. But you never know. Oh, look at that. Actually, that might have been interesting. Whoops. Oh, that was a bad time to fail like that. We should have just chased that bullet, bounced on top of it, gone to the upper claw. Yeah, that's not going to be quite enough height. This might be a long recovery. If it is at all a recovery, it might just not give us the option. Okay. I think this may in fact be a death, which is unfortunate given that the water sort of implied that we would have a bit of a safe recovery point, but I think at this point of depth it's probably just the easiest way to get out of this trap. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, like, it looks like the level is sort of designed around the expectation of there being a bottomless pit, but at the same time you wanted it both ways, and to have the forced in there for a pure aesthetic, and I think it sometimes needs to commit one way or another if it's going to give us an intuitive reset or not. But that's alright, well, we now know about that, we can just play around it accordingly. Oh, bounce off the fish, okay, yeah. That's something we should have considered more carefully, that's true. Jumping out of water in general, I think, is a little bit difficult to work with. But hey, we'll go over just to see. Nope, nothing there. Okay, why not? There we go. It does look quite nice. And yeah, it was pretty satisfying to just follow the bullet and have that be our path to the top flag at the end. Okay, maintaining a fairly steady equilibrium as we stay on 23 lives. Here's the treacherous swamp trail. And yeah, there we go again as a bit of a tree check. I had seen that in a snow level previously, I believe. Yeah, we just gotta go fast. All there is to it. Oops. I knew that was going to happen, I just didn't have the right cover arc to deal with it. Okay, this setup is familiar to us from one of the coin zones in, I believe it was a desert level earlier, one of the multi-task levels earlier anyway, that a setup we've seen before. Only thing, okay, when you respawn, it's pretty clear you shouldn't be going this way just because of all the spikes. Typically, though, when you have a checkpoint flag that has this kind of placement, sometimes a good idea to have an arrow just to be clear. because it's surprisingly easy to forget where you're going from a checkpoint when you get back into it, I find. Not so much of an issue for this level because it's very clear where to go, but just something to keep in mind. Okay, that's an interesting warp block placement. Looks like... Are these down pumps or side pumps? They look like down pumps, but the side pumps would be triggered at this range. Oh, this guy. Snarling at us as we... Oh, whoops. That looked like a bad idea. We needed to ride him. For sure. Yeah. Just gonna despawn way off screen. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the run so far, Volkswagen. If you have any behind-the-scenes material that you want to share in terms of the story of the making of these levels, you're certainly welcome to. Always nice to have a little bit of trivia like that in terms of, you know, why you decided to make certain things the way you did, and, oh, whoops. Certainly because I know that these are probably not in the order that they were originally made, but kind of organized thematically by the way that would fit the intended difficulty curve and the subworld. Not the subworld, rather, but the world theming. And so it's kind of interesting to play these in sequence and recognize some of the recurring structures, like the pump belts earlier. Okay, let's actually ride the bottom one accurately this time. Yeah, drop, drop, drop. And yeah, and very nice that we did have a bit of a sneak preview of that warp block well in advance, so we knew to expect it on our way back. Ah, nice. Pretty satisfying to make our way through that one there. This is just a straight run. And ceiling... Oh, no, we missed a 10 point. Okay, I was thinking of going for that. Yeah, it definitely seems like you generally like the interaction of the font movements, particularly in 3D world, where you do get things like the wall slide and also just the ability to ride safely. Like that does add a fair bit to the game. Let's make some lives just in case. Oh, we actually got it for once. Just one, but we'll take it. And it is time for a Ghost House Mystery Mansion. Oh, that's a ghost house, alright. You're gonna have the horror mwahaha there. And burners that deter us from the mushrooms. Okay, so that's going to tell us something about a P-switch. We'll check the pipe anyway. Yeah, the pipe gives us a P-switch. Wonder if we need to go back. Do something else to keep the P-switch active. Oh, here's a structure worth demolishing. Now, it looks like this is just a starting area. We probably need to maintain the P-switch as something active and head back up. Whoops. Head back up the pipe and then do something with the P-switch active. Let's take a look. Yeah, we need a P-switch active in order to drop through here. Let's go back and do that. Oh, whoops. Kind of a bad bounce there. Alright, let's get the mushroom from the burner safely this time. Hit the P-switch, go left. Okay, pretty straightforward. Here's another swamp column. 1 plus 3. Well, I mean, none of these are door 4. So 1 plus 3... I guess we should do door 1 and door 3. No, that's going to laugh at us. It could be that activating the P-switch will interact with this here. That's 1 plus 3. Now we'll just take a skip and a hop right over him. The ding dong. And we have escaped. I don't know if there's anything like an invisible block or alternate passage taking us up to the top left there, but so that looks like that might be exit only, so. Mr. Electrodude, glad you're still enjoying Splatoon. I don't know what kind of weapon set you tend to go with. But it's been a while since I played a match, ever since the second last Splatfest. I did miss the very last one, back when it was held, but I haven't really gone back since version, what 5.0 was patched in? But yeah, always welcome to lurk. It has been a while since I played. I played quite a lot of it back when it launched, and got up to A or A- in each of the competitive modes, but not exceptionally high, just enough to see some decent matches where you actually need to know how to play the objectives. Okay, we'll grab the power of fire. And gonna hug the camera here on the auto scroll. Whoops. Yeah, we got plenty of time, I think, to look at this. Grab another flower. Lose it immediately to the Rocky Wrench. Yeah, some of these levels are clearly new because they do use a few of the new elements. We had seen some of those previously, of course, with the Mecha Koopas and so forth. Okay, that's definitely a bit of a timed wall jump obstacle. We'll see if we can ride the bullet anywhere interesting. Looks like it's a matter of reversing the burner timing. So far, it's felt pretty gentle.
Oh yeah, Mario time!
And that was a world record, but considering that was auto-scroll, I mean, we didn't really do anything for that record other than landing on flag fairly accurately on the right side of the screen. I think that's a very easily beatable record for anybody who's going to give it a go. World 5. And we enter World 5 with a bank of 24 after having restarted middle of World 3. Okay, we have a 100-second time limit. Pathing doesn't look particularly strict, given that this is, once again, an auto-scroll. Seems like half the challenge here is just not to outpace it by too much. Whoa. Okay, looks like we're going to have another light challenge here, and that will just take us straight to the goal, which is placed rather high, but you could see it from the background decoration on the black curtain. That was going to be the case. A little bit behind record, but we weren't exactly hugging the last screen of the auto-scroll very tightly. Cheap, cheap skyline. Okay, so let's gain some height here so we can make it all the way over here, and oh, here's another fairly new level as evidenced by the presence of SMB2. Sure, that's only going to give us a coin. Seems, whoops. That was almost a save. And have dawdled quite so long there. I like that you can take this somewhat speedy fashion. There definitely have been some obstacles in certain levels we've seen so far where the problem was going slowly. Okay, so we lost SMB2, but seems like a bit of a bonus power-up rather than something strictly necessary. We'll just need to be careful as the Cheap Cheeps... And whoa! Didn't expect the reversal there, having not read in the end of the track accurately. Usually I see something like that and I have every reason to just expect a drop, so I should have just read that instead of assuming. Because, you know, you see an ending of the track like that and you just so often expect a drop. But that's just habit talking. Yeah, I think camera-wise, the timing to get back on a track here looks much less stringent than it actually is. It actually is fairly strict simply because it goes off camera. Because you think you have so much room to get off the platform and get back on, and I'm sure in the editor it looks that way. But I'll just show you again. Yeah. And because it goes off camera, you can't actually quite see where you're going. But in general, in this Sky World in particular, a lot of these levels are built rather high, and being built rather high, you know, you can get a lot of tugging back and forth to the vertical camera when you cross the central axis, as you can see there. I'm not going to demonstrate that too thoroughly, given that we have 50-some seconds left, but that's a lot of Cheap Cheeps. We'll just ride them out. And we'll ride this one up. Why not? That looks like the pathway to the flag. Oops. Miss. Hey, Hey, Lecter, how are you doing? We still have to catch up on the foot race level of yours that you've been sending around. Yeah, just doing a big catch-up stream today. Currently finishing World 5 of a 6-world adventure. And then we have a whole bunch of single levels lined up. And we'll kind of reorder them depending on who's hanging out and who is able to see some of those played live. So, hopefully doing another one of these this weekend as well. Just to get as much played as we can manage. But yeah, the patch levels have continued to be exciting. There's been so much to get through. Let's wait. Checkpoint. Yeah, my star tab is absolutely gigantic, and it also includes a lot of people who have been re-uploading levels that they have cleaned up for Super Worlds, and that includes you as well, I'm pretty sure. Like, I seem to recall that you had a number of special editions that you had put together. And yeah, a lot of those I'm just kind of waiting for people to finish up with their worlds before I do them, because some of them are definitely worlds that are works in progress as they are being reassembled. But definitely the newer levels that use the newly introduced mechanics, I've been playing as much of them as possible. So yeah, the biggest sticking point in this entire adventure so far has just been in World 1. I mean, we also took the game over in World 3, but that was just a long-term consequence of having been very sloppy in World 1 and losing a half-hour bank right away. But yeah, very exciting patch so far. As I said to people who were here earlier, I was a little bit dismayed to find that in the world map you cannot re-enter levels that you've cleared already if you want to. For example, exporting from an alternate path. I mean, maybe that's just done to prevent farming lives or something, but it does seem very inflexible given that, you know, that's not how world maps in Mario typically work. Even in SMB3, where, you know, there was the hidden input to replay levels. No. I keep thinking that that would reset the propeller, and it does not do that at all, because the propeller suit is just generally very finicky and doesn't behave the way that it should. Yeah. You would think that would be the kind of easy thing to eventually patch in. But the surprising thing was that, you know, for all the worlds that people have been playing, I hadn't actually seen anybody talk about that particular limitation. Like, I just had not seen it mentioned. We're just way off camera. We can't do that stuff. We actually have to proceed a little more cautiously. Yeah, I was surprised I just didn't know about it. Like, it just never occurred to me to check whether levels could be replayed. But there are a few weird things about how worlds are implemented. Like how you generally just cannot backtrack, or... You know, you could have an optional layout, but if you beat the castle and if you beat the game, then that's it. And you actually do have to start over in order to see any of the optional content. Or alternate paths that you didn't take the first time around. That's sort of interesting that you can just hop right over. I guess that was only possible with the propeller. Yeah, I guess that was just a propeller-specific shortcut.
Oh yeah, Mario time!
Because the on-off blocks do not form a continuous wall all the way to the top. You would need a ground block for that to block the ceiling from something that could be traversed. Worlds basically do work like SMB1, yes. I mean, they do introduce the bonus rooms and a little bit of path choice if you have a layout and have branches, but they do seem almost exceedingly linear, which would be less of a problem if, you know, as many people have observed, if the lives system were a little more rigorously enforced rather than just losing you to continue. But on the other hand, I think a lot of Mario Maker just exposed how impatient a lot of players are about repeating any other kind of content. And I'm sure that if lives worked in the classic way, you would just have a lot of complaints about having to repeat things, because people are just so very attached to their checkpoint systems in this game. Sometimes for good reason, but I think I always find it shocking just how badly people can take the idea of ever repeating anything. But then I think those are two different crowds. Like, the crowd that's saying that is not the one that wants lives to matter. Given that the crowd that hates repeating content to begin with is the one that you often hear saying things about how, like, they think the entire idea of a live system is outdated. Which I really don't agree with. I do like challenges that are kind of based on consistency and stamina. Yeah, definitely aesthetically is closest to Super Mario World, especially the forest. I mean, you know, you do have the little pixel doodads here and there that are meant to look like elements from an SMB or 3D World, but definitely the art style is meant to evoke 16-bit. A lot of that's just from the color scheme, I think. Yeah, we're going to dispatch Roy rather handily. And that's going to take us forward to World 6, I believe, and then we will wrap this up in short order. Yeah, we've pretty much been binging our way through this. You know, for some reason I just hadn't seen that frog before. I just think I hadn't seen anybody use it. Same with the Undo Dog avatar, but I also just haven't really seen much of this particular overworld style with the circus decorations and so forth. So here we are going to begin on the USS Toadstool. We'll find out what kind of ship it is. Oh, there's SS. Okay, we definitely need to take advantage of low gravity here. We seem to miss the timing window that would have been appropriate. Yeah, it does seem to require a very specific entry time. Whoops, wanted to go under. Okay. Having a bit of trouble timing this out. but we'll see. Does seem like the patterns just given the initial starting positions on tracks are maybe not the most cooperative. Not the most cooperative, rather. That's okay, we'll make it over. And that seems like a much better pattern to use. Having the leaf will give us quite a bit more flexibility. And it is practically required here. So let the camera do some work. Scroll way over just so we can see where we are going. Okay, here's a very familiar kind of flaunt setup. We've seen a couple of these already in various levels. Yeah, definitely when you play a lot of levels in a row like this, you begin to recognize what kinds of structures or repeated elements the maker is particularly fond of. I think that's true of most makers, is that even if they're making a great variety of things, you do gradually get a sense of what their personal style is. Okay, let's adjust around a low gravity here and get a nice high bounce. And yeah, pipe spawn timings are going to be what they are in Mario Maker, and it's be generally very slow. I'm going to check the top spot just to check it. Looks like it's the top of the camera, and so not expect there to be anything here. Always worthwhile to check a decoration like that. So we're going to be ejected out of the rocket as it launches, and we'll grab a card. So yeah, I guess we will be finishing on a space world. Space world with a frog and an undo dog. And the fortress will be our second stop in World 6, storm the space castle. Well, let's storm it. Yeah, it looks like it's more low gravity, which is a little bit tricky, I think. But then that's just, I think, lack of experience with low gravity and not being able to intuit what the jump height should be. Yeah, this just looks like a bit of a recovery point. Ultimately, I assume that it's going to loop back around to the right side. Yeah, a little bit off camera throughout that whole segment, but that's what happens when you build high. Okay, so we want to activate a P-switch. I don't see it. Oh, I see. This is just a semi-solid. Yeah, P-switch will ultimately be when we get out of the subworld, back through another yellow pipe. So, fairly gentle firebar timings there, given how long they are. And yeah, this area flows pretty nicely. It's going to be a bit incautious. Whoops. Yeah, that's, again, a bit of a camera issue on the drop there, but not too severe, given that we just kind of popped out of there right away. Let's let the firebar give us a bit of room. Okay, and so the adventure continues apace. World record, considering how slow we were in certain parts. That I think we will take. Or the record there is very easily beatable. Mushroom, there we go. Okay, getting slightly better at this. Yeah, at this stage, with this being branded as the final major update, I'm not expecting substantial new elements in the editor or anything, but it seems like, you know, little things like expanding the range of the bonus rooms that they have would be kind of small scale patch content that we could hope for if we get any patch content at all. You know, it seems like we could probably get above the skewers if we wanted to get off Yoshi, but we'll take Yoshi since we might be able to get some use out of our dinosaur companion. Particularly with the float, like we have enough off-camera play here that I feel like the Yoshi float is going to come in quite handy. Yeah, I think that's certainly a bit of a recurring thing with these levels, is that like they often are built around enough vertical space that when you get up into the upper segments, camera tech does become a bit of an issue, like both with the level of off-screen play that you end up doing and oops, okay, and also just the visibility when you head back down and scroll back down across the center line. But you know, that stuff is one of the more difficult things to really keep under control, especially when you're building with this much use of vertical space. Whoa, okay, that was fast. I did not expect Winged Goomba to make that much of a dash, but again, that's just relative lack of experience with the low gravity theme. Whoops. Bad jump there. Yeah, I'm just surprised by how quick and compressed the whole update cycle is, even compared to Mario Maker 1. I mean, the updates to the toolset have been larger. I wouldn't necessarily say more significant simply because Mario Maker 1 introduced so many vital things, such as the checkpoints and the locked doors. But, it seems like here we got more, but we got it all quite a bit sooner. And that the support lifetime seemed to cut off fairly quickly compared to, say, the 2-year cycles for Splatoon and now also Smash. And certainly going to be a long support cycle for Animal Crossing as well. Sure. But yeah, I think the thing that struck me about the update was just how quickly they already said that this was final. Okay, this is an issue. And this is a very common problem when decorating with semi-solids, is you have to check your ceilings. You have to put in invisible blocks to block this kind of thing at the top of semi-solids. Seems like everybody has to learn this the hard way because, like, so many people do it. Let's start over. I mean, I always check for that stuff when it comes to playtesting. Just every time you have semi-solids that reach up to the highest level, to the highest row, rather, of the layout, you've got to check for that, because you can get above them, and the only thing that really blocks them are the things that are actually the hard ground elements, because they ground tiles and such do connect directly to the ceiling and enforce a hard block. Not everything does.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's very easy to miss, so... Even if you do check thoroughly, it's amazing how many of those could just get away from you when we're doing decoration. Yeah. Whoops.
Oh no!
Yeah, designing in Mario Maker 1 would be, I think, a bit of a shock. Just, you know, yeah, you didn't have certain things back, like your stacked pipes and everything. I think the most difficult adjustment would be the lack of scroll stop. Because I had to... I mean, my designs in Mario Maker 1 were never great or elaborate, but... And I just put a lot more time into Mario Maker 2, but in 1 you really notice the lack of scroll stop and the amount of building that you have to do to get around that fact and just mask certain things from spawning in, and just the amount of extra space you need to create in every level just to prevent things in the next room from activating if you've built any contraptions or anything that's very sensitive to spawning or despawn distance. Like, I do think the #1 thing that came out of Mario Maker 2 for everything that it added, #1 thing that came out of this game is scroll stop, for sure. Like, easily the biggest improvement, I think. Okay, let's not lock ourselves this time. Whoops.
Oh no!
Wow, those Goombas are fast. Whoops. Not smart. But yeah, there was certainly, I think, a lot of flavor that was lost with the removal of the amiibo costumes. Just given the capacity for kind of narrative or story levels that it created. Yeah, and like the pipe is so high up in this segment, it's very easy actually just to get softlocked there by accident, even if you aren't going out of your way to do it. But it's okay. We've got it under control. Again, bit of a camera thing there. Simply because you can't see the floor on the descent, but... I know.
Oh no!
Would have been much easier to do that with Yoshi had we gained him. We do have the checkpoint, however. Grab Yoshi. Yeah, clearly designed with Yoshi in mind, I think. Yoshi will not get crushed. Oh, yes, he will. We'll get another one. And on we go. Yeah, exactly. The sort of one-tile power and the way that it allowed you to create very dense layouts in terms of the kinds of walks you could create.
Oh yeah, Mario time.
Okay. Yeah, that one was interesting. I mean, there was a soft lock issue, of course. And, but for something fairly Yoshi dependent, you know, Yoshi is respawn often enough to make the concept work. And things look somewhat playable without Yoshi in most spots. Wasn't really optional, strictly speaking. Meat Grinder Mayhem, we'll just twirl our way carefully. Oh, look at that chomp. That
Oh no.
seems like something that we should be sneaking under, but hard to tell at first glance. Let's drop down the middle. Okay. Oh, that looks like a bit of a tight series of wall jumps. I knew I wasn't going to make it that time. The tight little bottom corner on the right wall, that was going to be a big problem for sure. Now, we kind of took a bit of a risk with the chomp last time. Luckily, we don't actually need to race against a P-switch. We, in fact, want the P-switch to expire by the time we get to the end of this. Whoops.
Oh no.
Looks like the idea is to go under while the conveyor belts are stopped. But Chomp's going to take a little bit of
Oh
planning.
no.
No, I think I'd rather go over. Okay, we're down to 17 lives. We can't be too sloppy here as we get deep into World 6.
Oh no.
Whoops.
Oh no.
Okay, let's try to find a
Oh
better method for getting around that chomp. And we still have to solve the problem of the wall jump segment after this. Now, this is the part where I admit I have not actually played Super Meat Boy, although I'm sure that that tends to be the reference point for a lot of people making these grinder wall setups. But okay. Don't want to blindly drop off the right side there, although I kind of wonder what that would do for us. Blindly dropping off the right side actually would have been the right idea. Given that you just have this massive safe zone. You don't actually need to take the loop on the left then, if you know that's how it's laid out. But I think we will actually just skip it. Whoops.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, surprisingly difficult to find a good timing for that, given the low headroom over to Chomp. There we go. Let's let the burners go once. Probably not optimal, but that's okay. No, we didn't. We did get enough distance there. I expected that to be a failure, and so I did not really give myself room to recover from that landing. Okay, we got kind of smushed by the track timing there. Yeah, down to 10 lives, we just have to be a bit more careful. Okay, it's going a little better. And let's give this a cycle, just be cautious. We do know that falling off the right side does in fact work. This guy is totally in the way. Wow, look at this jump.
Oh no!
And that is thankfully right at the axe. That's really just the last thing to do. I notice, of course, no mushroom that we've seen on this level, so just have to be very precise around there. We can't cheese it with damage. Unless there's something up above there that we can hit within that rectangle. That is a very suspicious, rectangle. And one that if we had a good spin over Chomp might actually give us something. I don't know if I'm going to bother trying that necessarily. But that does look very suspect. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a narrow gap through the last wall jump to the completion axe. Okay. Nope. Gotta do a little bit of a slide down in order to do that, or maybe just a spin jump to the left side. Just to have a little bit of a lower wall jump at the end there.
Oh no!
Okay, 7 lives. Yeah, we can probably make it. It's just something that can require a little bit of adjustment. It is a very short level, so... There's something of that difficulty doesn't feel inappropriately placed at all. It's pretty fine, I think. Okay, 7 lives remaining, going into the finale. Not really blind necessarily. I mean, I guess when you're scrolling up with the camera, definitely the second grinder on the left wall might come as a bit of a surprise in terms of how little distance you have, but I think as you ascend, that is something you can adjust around. It's just that you need to react pretty well to that. Oh yeah, let's grab some extra lives. We definitely need this in the bank. It is very tough to catch something like that when you've run it 100 times. That's absolutely true. Particularly when it's a level on the shorter side like that. When it's one of the last obstacles and therefore something that you're not going to be checking that repeatedly. Because it's not like you need to clear it repeatedly on the way to setting up something else, right? Because often as a final obstacle you think, okay, difficulty spike, we'll just leave it.
Oh no!
But I think one of the most interesting observations I've seen about difficulty curves in Mario games is that, like, and a lot of, you know, platformers like this in general, is that they aren't really just a linear curve. And this looks like a long jump. Whoops, we just totally missed that. Like, it's not like the obstacles are constant escalation that goes harder and harder. It's kind of like an ebb and flow with a few rest stops here and there, and occasionally a well-placed checkpoint. Alright, let's actually try to do the long jump accurately this time. Got to let the bullet lead a bit, give it nearly enough room. And yeah, sure, we need the on-off switch. Toggle. Okay, let's check the left side, just in case. Nothing, okay. Wanted to see. And yeah, that looks like a twirl. That looks like a slide or a ground pound. Yeah, of course, with the bottom layer, as always with the airship theme, which in this case is the circus theme, you need to watch out for the bobbing camera on the bottom layer in terms of how it disguises the floor. I mean, it was fairly clear what was going on with the previous room, so it's not like it was a problem there, but anything more intensive with the airship or circus theme, I think the floor visibility can be an issue. So this is going to be a very classic 3D World style Bowser climb. Amazing how familiar this feels by now, even though 3D World is one of the more recent games in the series. Also just amazing how familiar the entire 3D World theme tends to feel in Maker 2 these days, even though it was something that was original to this game as a 2D format. Like, the fact that there was never actually a 2D game in this style with these mechanics just kind of disappears on you after a little while. Like, it's something that you stop noticing. Especially when you play this as much as I did. Okay, not gonna get bullied on that flower. Yeah, as with vertical auto-scroll, we can sometimes hug the boundary a little bit tightly. And then we'll just head over to bullies, figure out where we ultimately want grapple in. Hugging the ceiling way too tightly. Eventually, we'll find some kind of exit. Yeah, you can definitely tell that Meowser is much better suited for this kind of chase sequence than as an actual boss most of the time. And I say that as somebody who has built like 3 different Meowser boss fights. And that his moveset was very much designed to be a chase moveset. Okay, let's grab the power up. Oops. Head back. The wall jump. Gain some time. Whoops. Yeah, the issue with 3D World when it comes to controllers, as you've probably discovered, is that with the Pro Controller, the kind of accidental up inputs that you get on a D-pad actually do affect things, and so with more intense and difficult levels in the 3D World style, you start running into problems when you, for example, mean to do a long jump and end up doing a twirl on the ground or something like that. Okay, this is not as clean a pattern as we had the last time we were here. I'm going to miss the power up. Had a very easy time at a bully last time, and then this time around, not so much. Okay. Meowser, get out of the way. Yeah, because the other styles, the accidental vertical inputs don't affect too much, apart from maybe the up throw in Super Mario World. Nearly lost it to just taking my hand off the controller for a moment. Thought it was very safe there and had to jump very impulsively out of that. Okay. Checkpoint followed by that, and then now we just kill him. And yeah, this is very similar to the cannon box setup way that we had in a previous Meowser fight, which kind of makes them feel like two parts of the same game. I think that was right around at a midpoint too, right? Like around World 3. And so it is very much something that, I mean, clearly I think they were designed at that point with the world in mind, though I don't know when you published either one of them. But it definitely feels like they are two peas in a pod, this fight and the previous encounter. Kind of like how a lot of the big 3D Mario Bowser fights tend to be elaborations of each other, like where you have recurring fights in 64 and the Galaxy games and so on. Yeah, so that was more or less the same setup we saw before. I don't think the cannon acts as a how it doesn't. For the purposes of coins in this bank here. Had some business to take care of. Was it Splatoon-related business, or was it something else? Okay, and that was Meowser's last stand. And I believe that is it. So we got through the whole thing with one continue. One very unfortunate continue, and in a span of just a little bit over 2 hours. And so that kind of gives you a sense of the tuning. And so Lulzwagon, thanks for sticking around the whole time to see that get played, and I hope that was useful design feedback in general for future levels, like even if you're leaving all of this game as is. I mean, we're always kind of constantly learning when it comes to checking future designs and polishing them off. So, thank you very much for that. And yeah, if we have individual courses by you that were not covered as part of the set of 30, you are quite welcome to submit them to viewer levels whenever you find me on. So, thank you very much for coming by. Since Lecter is here, you know what, Lecter, we'll look at the foot race, and we'll also look at, I believe I had one other level by you, a recent level with the mole that I had also not. So we'll just pull you up quickly. It seems a good time to play some of yours while I'm able to catch you here live. As I did have you sort of on my list of people to get through anyway. And yeah, well actually, I mean, these I think were part of the world that you were putting together, right? In terms of reviving some of the older levels. But I will at least do Molar Extraction and Foot Race. Rocky to Rapid. So yeah, Lulzwagon, thanks again for joining us for so long and for offering us that huge adventure. And we will take a look at Molar Extraction. Look, I'm pretty sure Mario is the bad guy in this one. So this was post-patch, a couple of days after the patch. Oh, all three of those are re-uploads. Okay, I don't think I ever saw the original of this one anyway, so might as well just take a look. And yeah, these guardian moles are going to kind of, oh, I love how this looks, by the way, that you go into the subworld, but that is still kind of continuous with the outdoors. That was an interesting, almost kind of a teleport. Hey, you know what this is? This whole thing here, where you go down and everything gets smashed? Refreshing. I see I actually have to dodge some things now. Whoops. Yeah, grab the 10 coin on the left, 10 coin on the right, as we drill our way down. But yeah, this is very cute, this entrance here. Okay, so let's actually pay attention this time and go left and right as needed. Okay, that was a bad idea. But we made it. And it is possible, of course, to reverse this way if we wanted. Yeah, but we'll drop in there and we'll move on. Aha! Okay. I was actually trying to build something like this. Like I had a similar track set up in an enclosure. Not a mole machine like this, where you have a tunneling machine, you know, building an underground subway system or something. But I was trying it on a water level with a steamship. I never quite got mine to work, but it was based on a similar track principle. It's really neat to see this used in the context of a drilling or tunneling machine, though. Because look at those thwompsters working so hard. Working so hard to make sure the newly established Bowser line 1, the red line, or the green line, runs on time. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that mole. We'll just raise the whole power track. See where that takes us. Yeah, got that money. As somebody who likes interesting level decoration, you should definitely look at some of Lecter's levels. I don't know if you were here when we played the MC Escher one. That one seems to be very widely played by now, from what I saw. But you'd certainly get a kick out of that. But yeah, this is a very cool concept. We did all the tunneling, and now we just make our way back up the mine shaft. And this will settle in very neatly for us to get back out. And once again, we have that kind of aesthetic connection between the underground and overground. And yeah, here's the flag. A little bit off the record, but we fumbled around a bit when we were trying to enter the outside. I'm just going to look at some of the clear rates here. I'm sure we'll catch up on most of these at some point, actually. You know what? They're all the post-match uploads. Let's just do them anyway. It'll be quick. Yeah, in the downward drilling segment, it did take me a moment to understand what was going on, but the coin trails were pretty clear. Looking at that thwomp set up in the opening, wow. That's, I'm just amazed this works. Whoops, that was just a terrible mistake. Alright. Yeah, look at the whole tessellation of the big ones and the little ones, and our big happy thwomp family. That's gonna parachute. Whoops. That was wise. Yeah, I don't think I played this one in its original form either, so I don't know what it is you changed or improved. Oh, that swamp wants to stick around. There's going to be some wall jumping that's required here. No. Not like that. Okay. Having a checkpoint on top of the swamp, well, that certainly is in the spirit of this level, where
Oh no!
just all swamps all the time. That's just the entirety of the layout, really. Kind of amazed it works. Whoops. And that it's actually readable despite the initial uncertainty over whether something is going to go side or left. Let's try to get in that pipe. Okay. Yeah, go side or up or down. Okay. Now we're in business. Now we're in business. That is actually pretty satisfying. I'm gonna drop 2 crates. Oh no, star, okay. Something tells me that's not what we want to do. Or is it? Yeah, okay. Dropping off the right side would have been a bad idea. Here we are. Here I was thinking I would just use the builder crates to get over to the blue pipe before I saw the star come up. And yeah, I am certain that really does take all the sprites. You redesigned this from the ground up to make it a more viable speedrun route. Okay, that's interesting. I see that I'm almost a full minute behind a much faster path. But yeah. This one looks like it might be quick. Make a midnight smuggle run down a poison river. Okay, here's a little boat with a Yoshi on it. And Fire Yoshi. Yeah, we'll take Fire Yoshi. Fire Yoshi does not hit the on-off. I knew that already, but I just wanted to check to be sure. And we'll have a replacement Green Yoshi anyway for any swallowing business that needs to be done. Oh, whoops. That required a different on-off state. That required a jump off to Yoshi for the 50 coin. And yeah, you can tell how this one was reworked with Wendy in tow. And we have lost the power of fire. Okay, so the boat is going to dock. And what are we going to do? Ah, yes, we need the POW to get rid of the muncher. Okay. Alright. And that's going to be some kind of scroll stop break. Whoa. Poison comes up. Sure, the bomb will do something for us on the top segment as well, but we didn't see why. Yeah, there totally was a... Oh, no, it doesn't go anywhere. If somehow you decided to leave Yoshi behind and take the bomb upwards. Yeah, I guess the SD locks would potentially come from just things, well, kind of, you know, sinking or going along the track and leaving you stranded. I do see what you mean. Yeah, the thing about designing auto-scroll is that at least you get a lot of reliability that's introduced with it. Okay, foot race with Rocky the Rapid. He might not want to race you, but he gonna. Yeah, sometimes, you know, a certain player action is very obviously going to lead you to an SD log. It's not going to be a surprise if you are reading what the level is telling you. But, whoops. Okay, so how are we going to do this here? We want to pick him up and throw him at the Goombas. Okay, so we race. And yeah, that's how we smack the Goomba all the way to the right. And it looks like this is the actual race. That was just a practice to teach the initial mechanic. Whoops, gotta actually flow our way over here and do a crouch jump. So we'll take the reset door and start this one over. That is a lot of Goombas. I guess the pipe allows you to do that. Whoops, tried to lift him. But I need another SMB2 mushroom. Okay. Miss. Alright, let's just go back and reset this. Throw accurately and jump accurately. That's already terrible. Okay. And that's just not going to go... Oh, we need to throw this. That's just going to break in advance. We'll eventually... I see. It's going to scout ahead a little bit. Yeah, might as well. No, guess not. So that's going to be a reset, yeah. We do ultimately want to throw him in such a fashion that he will give us the key, right as before. Yeah. Yeah, very interesting idea. I still haven't played enough with the SMB2 mushroom to see how a lot of the collisions work. Okay, we gotta do this a little better. It looks like the way we have him set up, he's just going to fall off here no matter what. I don't know if that's a throwing accuracy issue for him to fall off after the slope, like he's no longer bouncing on the surface. So let's try that again. Okay. We have to stop missing crouch jump there. Unless there's some kind of... Oh, okay, yeah, if he gets too far ahead, the Goombas haven't spawned yet. Yeah, I see, I see. Right, because it depends on the collision with those who have already spawned. Which is why it's a bit of a race. Yeah, I see it, because he falls off as soon as he stops hitting the Goombas. So you need to get far enough ahead of him that the Goombas spawns going. Which will require me to actually crouch under that one tile for once. Yeah, really interesting mechanic. I would not have thought to test that kind of thing where just keep the roll going with... Oh, okay, we gotta do this again. Oops. Okay, hope I don't need SMB2 here. Okay, no, that just hits the on-off. And that gives me access to the next zone. Okay, this time, okay, SMB2. And then we will have a little bit of swimming involved with this challenge. Okay, as SMB2, we need to Well, no, we still need to swing. Like, that doesn't allow us to drop on the cookies. We need to do a backswing and then continue, and then... Okay, something... We'll need to hit this on-off switch. I think we need to get ahead of it. Oh, probably just drop the shell off to this side like that. And a bit of an accuracy challenge here as we try to get ahead. And then he's going to chain over across... Look at that. Like, he's going to fall over. He's going to chain across to the bottom right segment here. And... Okay, I see. Let's do this properly. Yeah, this is a very cool concept. Oh, whoops. No, no, no. He nuked the shell. I just missed the pickup. Okay. Okay, we do have enough time to do the backswing since the lower Goom Rats are not dependent on, oops, type spawns. However, we don't need to have the accidental up input that we were talking about earlier. Activating a door, quite like that. You need SMB2 in order for the shell to work. Okay, we gotta redo this. Redo. 60 seconds, we will almost certainly have to redo this from the checkpoint, but flag's right there. I think we can still make it. We have one very accurate run. Backswing. Up we go. Yeah, chaining him over to the bottom left is very cool. Okay, what did I do wrong there too? Oh, I know, I see. I have to go fast enough to get past the red line. Kind of hesitated a bit too much there. No. 8 seconds. Yeah, we're going to have to redo this from the checkpoint, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll have to redo it. Yeah, we just didn't read that accurately. And the thing is, I scouted everything up to the flag the first time, so there was really no excuse. Like, I should have known that that's how that mechanism was going to work. But I think I wasn't paying enough attention to how the on-offs were going to be handled.